What do you got going on, Joe? Boom.
Well, this week on the Creative Control Network, Husey had on Esther Koo.
Who?
Who's a
Wait a minute. Don't just go over that like we know who it is. Who?
Esther Koo is a Asian lady stand-up comedian who came on to talk about Louis C.K. and things going on in the comedy world.
Gee, what a coincidence. This guy's a huge mark for Louis C.K., Joe, who I think is I'm not a big fan, and this girl who knew him who nobody's heard of, happened to be on Hughley's show.
And also myself and John Wangland from Wrestling with Reality.
Yourself. What a coincidence. Disco, what did I just say?
Yeah. Myself and John Wangland were on the show for Husey's.
Wait. Who's the third guy?
John Wangland hosts Wrestling with Reality on the Creative Control Network, by the way. And so we were on the show doing Husey's New Year's party.
Hosts on other shows.
Yeah, we commingle, you know.
All right.
And
you cross-pollinate.
They cross-pollinate. Way back. Playback with Pat McNeil and Jim Valley reviewed the 1996 Royal Rumble this week. Road Warrior Animal show did a Mean Gene tribute and also featured Animal coming back at Becky Lynch, which is getting some good steam on the website.
Getting back at Becky Lynch? What happened there?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Animal made comments on the podcast referencing some of the same things that Disco has said, that the guy should be embarrassed if the women take the main spots on the card, and that
yes, and they should.
And also said something.
If any professional performer that has confidence in himself, that's a male wrestler, that's a top guy, would absolutely should be embarrassed.
Right. So
but they would, and they probably are embarrassed, but will never admit it.
So that
I would be. Conan, would you be embarrassed when you were in AAA and Sexy Star became the top girl and like supplanted you as the number one person in the company?
Anybody, not just Sexy Star.
Yeah, right. You'd be don't want your spot taken, especially by the girls.
Yeah.
Like that.
So and also took a shot at Becky Lynch, saying she wasn't as good as she thought she was, stuff like that. Becky got back at him on Twitter, saying, kind of old now to touch, those sort of comments. And Animal responded this week, just kind of saying she's not in any position to criticize me after the career I've had. So, yeah, that was last week, and it seems to be an ongoing thing between those two. So, and,
that's all she said. The first 4 words of your thing.
Bro, I think this is fascinating. That we're sitting there talking about, like, this is a thing these days that this wrestling echo chamber likes to talk about, how this is the greatest array of talent. And there's so much things that are happening that's showing evidence that it's not even close to the best array of talent when the girls are taking your spots. That's I think it's a thing. I think it's hysterical that people actually try to argue that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The girls are taking your spots. How are you that talented if the girls are taking your spots? That's a reasonable question. Would you agree with that?
No.
Of course not, because you're still in the business and you're part of the echo chamber and you're scared to speak.
Bro, here's the thing. Here's where you and me are obviously having a problem. What would I be in your top 5, 10 guys that you've known in the business that has tremendous heat for speaking exactly what they think, or no?
Yes.
Why would I stop now?
Because you're a snowflake.
No, the problem is before we didn't give women chances to give good matches. Now we have, and if they have a better match than a guy,
but they're not really having better matches than the guys. They're not really doing that. Okay, they're judged by completely separate standards than the guys are. That's true. I mean, I'm not watching, bro. They did a spot last night where remember how I said the girls try to do the guys' spots and that they aren't fast enough for Strada to do them. Where Sasha was trying to give the Nia Jax a hurricanrana from the apron on the floor, and the spot just it's like, bro, it's like, that's something that Rey Mysterio should be doing with another guy that can take the bump easily and stuff. And the girls try to do it, and it was a complete botch.
Right.
And I'm just saying they tried those spots.
They're not as athletic as guys, but I have seen matches like that. That last one they had with Charlotte, and it was Asuka, and who was the other one with that? Which she was hitting it with the cane.
Becky Lynch.
That match was fucking good. It was good, very good. And I was like, wow.
I'm not. Here's what I'm saying.
This is what I thought. This is what I thought. At first, I thought, wow, for the girls, that's a real good match. And then I thought to myself, you know what? The girls have been bringing it in AAA, where I have no reason to make this up, bro. A lot of times the women have better matches than the guys in Mexico, because now the women's have got the women. Maybe they're hungrier. Maybe I don't know, bro. But sometimes the women are having better matches than the guys in Mexico. All
right. Well, I'll tell you this. I used to watch, growing up in the Georgia Indies, I used to watch Peggy Lee Leather wrestle Bambi numerous times.
Right.
And I'm telling you, those matches were better than anything that the WWE has on TV right now. Those girls used to beat the piss out of each other. It looked like a fight.
Right.
Okay, and then they looked, because they're good. They would hit each other, chops hard. Just they knew how to strike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and so just I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying the girls I think Charlotte's fantastic. A lot of these girls are very, very extremely talented. But when you're literally trying to compare their matches to the guide matches, I'm sorry, but that's just like I'm going to watch a WNBA basketball game, and I'm sorry, it's not as good as at any point better than the Sixers versus Celtics anytime they play each other.
Right, and I agree with that. I don't watch women's basketball, but some women's wrestling is good. If you go back, bro. And if you look at women's wrestling in Japan, it's really, really good, especially like in the 90s when I used to watch it. It was incredible. And everything just evolves. American women got better. They started to, they just got better. And it's almost like soccer. We used to get destroyed every year in soccer. Now we're beating powerhouses. Mm-hmm. When soccer is not even, it comes behind baseball, basketball, and football. There are countries where all they do is play soccer. Look at hockey, bro. The World Championships that just happened, that Canada got knocked out, I think, by Finland, and America beat Russia. Yeah. Come on. We've gotten good in hockey. We've gotten good in soccer. Women have gotten better in wrestling, and that's what it is.